You are mayor for the next 2 years or so. You go. Another will come out. Tell them we need a nation like this kind of printed and distributed. Then it will go further. I thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Prof.
wish you well.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just, some highlights from the talk I just want to highlight. We're treating a problem with 7% of the response. We are using a military solution, which is 7% to solve a 100% solution. These were all part of Colonel Olukwa's talk. He also said that there has to be a stop to the kidnapping economy, that the kidnapping economy is worth $15 billion, more than even the petroleum resources we are getting in Nigeria. And one of the things he suggested is that we have to cut off the financial sources of supply for our terrorists in Nigeria. We want to go into the panel discussion. We have 3 eminent panelists who are going to be moderated by an eminent moderator. And I want you to listen to what they're going to discuss. First of all, we're going to take our guest speaker today, Colonel Olukwa. He's going to come down to the back of the front of the podium of the stage, and he's going to sit on the front, just so that we can have a place for the panel to sit. So please, Professor Dr. Colonel Olukwa, please come up on this chair over here. Thank you so much, coming all the way from Mission, Texas, to sit with us here in Kunewi, Nigeria. He's a friend, he's a brother, he's a man who loves Nigeria dearly, and he's currently consulting with different angles of government, on this hydra-headed monster called insecurity and insurgency. Let's put a hand together for Colonel Olukwa. Thank you very much, sir. Also to join him on the panel is our representative of the General Officer Commanding, General Fadairo, represented ably here by General Julius, and he's going to be speaking along with the panel on these concerns we have about combating insecurity, insurgency, and the criminal enterprise in Nigeria. Let's welcome General Julius. Thank you very much, General. The General is from the Signals Corps. My dad was an engineer corps man. He was in the engineers just like Colonel Olukwa, and we have that in common as well. Amazingly, my dad never encouraged any of us saliently or openly to join the military. He had a very, he had an experience in the military that he felt was very difficult to replicate in his children. So he pushed us to do the sciences. He said, look, just do something else, because he felt the military was tough, it was difficult, and every time there was a coup in Nigeria, it was like the house went quiet for 24 hours, because my dad didn't know his fate. The last coup that happened with Babangida, he was in boarding camp. Just to tell you a story, boarding camp at 11 p.m. He was working in Lagos, but my mom and the family were in Ibadan. At 11 p.m., he heard a voice saying, go to Ibadan. He called his driver. 11 p.m., they drove to Ibadan, got to Ibadan past midnight. The coup happened the next morning. And the place where he was staying, boarding camp guest house, was blown up, shattered, bombed. And so every time there was a coup in my house, there was uncertainty for 24 hours. So that's why one of the reasons, just one of the several reasons my dad never encouraged any of us to join the military, the uncertainty of the military. As a doctor, my profession can guarantee me something on a regular basis. But as a general, as a colonel, the truth is that your future is uncertain, whether you believe it or not. All right, the third person to join us on the panel today is none other than the president of the Igbo Leaders of Thought and our Emeritus Director General, National Orientation Agency, Professor Elo Amuchiaze. I'm sorry we have to take you down to the panel discussion, sir. If you don't mind, Thank you very much, sir. We're honored to have you in our midst, and thank you so much for coming to honor us all the way from Enugu in Unewi. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. And to moderate this session will be Air Vice Marshal Ben Chiobi. Air Vice Marshal Ben Chiobi is a former security advisor to the governor of Anambra State, and he served meritoriously in the Nigerian Air Force. Thank you so much, sir. 35 years. Thank you, sir. Professor Ben. Thank you. Well, okay, sir. Thank you so much. Before we go further, I know there's some snacks and drinks that have been shared already. And if you want to use the restroom, please, you can take a restroom break in Newi, not local government headquarters. But I know we all have somewhere to go, somewhere to be. So we're going to move expeditiously today. And I'm going to hand over this session to our moderator, Air Vice Marshal Ben Chiobi, to guide us on the next step towards this. We're going to ask some questions and then take session discussions from them. Thank you all very much. God bless. Thank you very much. So, Air Vice Marshal Ben. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'll give you some.
Hello. So just in 5 minutes or 3, and you don't mind, we will bring it home. My American go. Security is the bottom of approach.
So while we are waiting on some bathroom breaks, I'll just give you some quotable quotes by Sam Momah. We were hoping to get some of his books here, but I'm hoping that they can still arrive. And before you leave, my dad was an author of 12 books, and we're hoping that they will be available for purchase here. But these are some of the quotes that my dad made in his time while he was here. He said, "Britain became great because she pioneered the first industrial revolution, on which the entire world has revolved since. For Nigeria to truly become great, she must start today to lay the foundations of that greatness by giving more and taking less from Mother Nigeria." It was a quote that he quoted from Nelson Mandela. Obviously, we all know Nelson Mandela, the great anti-apartheid hero. Education is the greatest weapon for acquiring cutting-edge technology and acquiring the freest freedom. Sam Momah also said, "In a globalized world, the strength of a nation is measured not by the strength of its army, but by the strength of her currency." Exactly what Colonel Olukwa said, there has to be an economic empowerment. Then he also said that to energize their market, a country needs to replace conspicuous consumption with proficient productivity. And lastly, one of the things he stood for, he said, let us eschew ethnocentrism, tribalism, and political bitterness. Let us avoid religious bigotry and social debauchery. Nigeria has become a mixed bag of complex personalities, and they are at best ambivalent in principle and paradoxical in action. Just a few quotes. We have them on the wall of the Sam Momah Library, and I'm sure when this is over, you'll take your time out to go and visit the library. I'll just give you a little bit about the library. It cost us almost 50 million naira. It's going to be powered by solar. It will not necessarily be connected to the national grid. It's going to be equipped with 5 computers with wireless access to the internet. It's going to be equipped with books. And it's going to be an ambient environment for students and lecturers who want to come there and do their research. It's a stone throw from the Unewi local government. There is security. I hear the NSAS office is right next door. So we are optimistic the solar panels and the computers are safe. We put burglary proof as well, but I trust the government of the local government chairman will help us monitor them as adequately provided. So we now hand over to Air Vice Marshal Ben Chiobi, who served for 35 years in the Nigerian Air Force. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. First, I want to appreciate the Momah family for this wonderful initiative. I used to just only hear about the annual lectures, and I want to say that I'm privileged to be a part of this 6th one. Apart from the organizers, I want to appreciate the mayor because as far as I'm concerned, he is the government with us. And then every other special dignitaries, particularly Professor Amuchazi, a legend, a seasoned personality that I'm privileged to moderate in a lecture that he was also a listener. And every other personality, particularly our guest lecturer, Panel Benukwa. And then all other protocols duly observed. My job this afternoon is very simple. Add the short and team, it's just essentially to see if you have been very good listeners. If you were busy pressing your phone or probably sleeping. Otherwise, it means that the beautiful message that Panel Runkwa and our guests from Mississippi, my son went to college in Mississippi, we'll talk about that later, that all of them traveled far and near just to be here. Yes, to the ordinary mind, this looks like an intellectual thing, but the truth remains that we all need knowledge. We all need to be educated. It's part of the process of getting to understand the problems and challenges we have. So it is not out of place. Ordinarily, it would have been easy for them to walk to the new library complex and commission it, and we all have a drink and eat things and go away. But they wanted to follow in the trail of the great man, a very senior fellow, General Sam Momah of blessed memory. So, as I commend them, I also commend all of you for showing up today, because it is not easy. Ordinarily, people want to go to where they will have things to take away, but today, I want to believe that we'll even have something greater to take away, and that is knowledge, and to a reasonable extent, education, and to try to bring it home. Colonel Orumpa, the guest lecturer, spoke a lot about Iraq. I'm sure some of you don't know anything about Iraq. But at least the important thing is that he wasn't telling us the story of Iraq as an academic. He was sharing experience based on what he saw. In fact, that he went through the, how would I say it, went through the mouth of the lion and still came out. Because serving in those environments then was a very tough thing to do. Thank God technology has given us a new phase of life in how we approach modern combat. But I was taking previous notes while he spoke, and then looking at how do we bring it home. As much as he said that security is everybody's business, but often you find that if there's any problem in Anambra, people will say, "Solu don't spare," and all that. But what you should always ask yourself when you point a finger, you find that the other fingers are pointing at you. Ordinarily, that you give information to security agencies will be one of the processes, one of the list of the things we can do. So the global thinking is about all government now, all society approach in solving problems. And I think that is what Professor Charles Chukuma Soludo, the governor, has been trying to do. And then to try to see that all those things that, all the untouchables, okay, all the things that people could not do before, particularly to do, like you talked about, the religious cultism, people who use the church as the facade to deceive people and do all kinds of dangerous things. We are trying to see that all that is being dismantled. Then to talk about how that has affected the youth, because as you said it, all you said, you are saying the youth, the future is in your hands. Take over your country. He's not telling you to do poor. All he's saying is start by something as simple as that you have your voter's card. Don't think that, things will not always be the same. So take that opportunity. We will just leave the floor open. Our approach will be probably to see what people will say in response to what you said. And then we can add a little more flesh to it. But ordinarily, my approach is always to look at how do we bring this home. And for me, one sentence cuts across everything. It talks about building what you call community resilience. What is community resilience? It starts from your local community. Do you know who is in charge of the vigilante there? In our local environment, now, just for us to take ownership of it, Professor Charles Chukuma Soludo said we should call them, we rebranded them, and instead the Anambra Homeland Security Law. It's only in Anambra that you have that in the whole of the country. Just so that we see that there's a sense of belonging in how we manage security here. But just like I said, in a language that we use it for everybody to understand. Community resilience. How do we respond to the challenges we have in whatever form it comes? Someone has come to rent a house and you don't know what they do there. Did you report to the police? Did you report that to the vigilante office? Did you tell the president general, the youth leader, the traditional ruler of your town? It will not be possible for the governor or even the police to just walk in and understand what is going on there if someone does not give them information. And that alludes to what the presenter said when he was talking about the fusion center. You know, you were using a lot of global language. If on a Google, do we have where there's a convergence of intelligence team, the kinetic elements and the non-kinetic elements? Because our approach seems to be too much. We used to be a lot more reactive rather than being proactive. So the long-term solution lies more in our non-kinetic effort than kinetic. He ascribed numbers to it when he talked about 7%. For us, anything that you say, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So if anybody can provide those numbers he's given, tell us what we should do in order to see that we have some changes. So our approach in Anambra, in my experience having worked here as advisor on security in the last 6 years, is to see that we gravitate a lot more to non-kinetic approaches to managing security. But you often find that our people, maybe on the roads, you see that people will not respect police or the vigilante people if they see the person is not armed. So it is also a bit in our mindset to see that our mentality about security must go beyond thinking that you are safer when you have someone that is armed. Just like the typical way to illustrate this is the challenge we have with trying to provide security in schools in Nigeria. How many thousands of armed men are able to provide? The solution is simply to have security for everybody. So once you do that, it gravitates to what he was talking about, the lessons from Iraq, to see that thinking that your security solution lies a lot more in kinetic approach. There's a lot we can do through non-kinetic, but we will leave it open to hear more from the people and also from the people on this side of the divide. Thank you. General, you want to say something to us? Tell them about the PDR efforts and the Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, which is an initiative from the Office of National Security Advisor. These are things we'll be trying to do to drive non-kinetic effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I would like to commend the presenter, our keynote speaker, for a well-delivered lecture. And as I said earlier, that the security threats we are facing today requires everybody to put hands on deck so that we face it squarely together. The security agencies cannot do it alone, as I've earlier told you. This particular type of threat, insurgency, requires actionable intelligence. Without intelligence, you can't fight this threat. I can remember in the 9/11 attack in the US, it was attributed to intelligence failure. There was no synergy between the intelligence amongst the intelligence agencies. But now the new concept is, as our able moderator said, is the whole of society approach. Those people are living with us in most cases. When you see them, say something. You don't have to openly say something, but there is a way you can talk without unnecessary exposure. Like in the military, we have a toll-free line. If you call, nobody will know you. 193. If you dial it, it's free. Nobody will charge you anything, but they will respond to you. It's a call center at the Army headquarters. We man it 24 hours. So please, just quietly by one corner in your house, make a call that at so place something is happening. And I can assure you, you will see us there. So we need your support to actually make us succeed. And we should also remember that we are not doing these things for the military. We are doing it for Nigeria. It's for all of us. It's not a military thing, it's a Nigerian thing. So your support is very necessary. They say people become insurgents not because they are able, but because they are not offered better things to do. So you can see they talk about kinetic and non-kinetic operations. Leave the kinetic operations to us. And you do the non-kinetic, even though we're also involved in the non-kinetic efforts. But everything we say the government, who are the people in the government? We are the ones, our brothers, our sisters, and all. So please, let us help ourselves as a people. Then again, in those days growing up, once you see a visitor in your area, you would like to know who is this person, what are you doing here? But now, some of us accommodate them, and some of these people are criminals. Before you know it, you think you are harboring him. His act will overwhelm you, even you, the one that must have, decided to accommodate that criminal. So please let us change. And I will also urge maybe at local government level to show the security line where people can easily call, because so it's a very important thing. And when they call, do they expose the people? that's why a toll-free line is better, which may not you will not be able to know who is even calling. But if I call a normal line, maybe my name will show through a caller ID, but we don't want people to know who is calling. So it's better we liaise with these network providers to give us a toll-free line for the people to call. If you are to be paying the companies monthly, you do, but let those that will call not be identified, because the people who are employed as vigilantes, do we know them? Have we vetted them? How sure are we that they cannot expose us anytime we report something? So these are some of the things we have to take into considerations. And then the aspect of education, I'm sure if we engage this youth, the Southeast, I think they have one of the most intelligent people in this country. So I don't think a real Southeasterner will get involved in any criminality if it has something to do. Those that are doing it, I've seen many that they're just those that have decided to fall by the wayside. They are lazy people, sincerely. Anywhere you go, you see the Southeastern engaged, fully engaged. So we have to talk to these people. As the moderator said, we've started a DDR program with the Anambra State government, and we've made progress at a time. And I believe this process will continue. And I pray those people they accepted to key into the DDR program, that's the mobilization, disarmament, and reintegration process. They want to lay down their arms. And I believe if we pursue this process, we're going to achieve it with proper organization and administration. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, General. I don't know, Prof, would you like to talk to us now? Or should we still allow? Okay. Well, we'll not ask him any question. We're just elaborating on what the lecturer said, just to bring it home. The General, Julius, the representative of the GOC, he said something about toll-free line. Anambra State has a toll-free line, 5301. You can call it now. It works 247. The whole idea is just like he said. You can pass information through voice, it can be through text, it can be through video. Tell them what is happening in your community. That's what we mean by building community resilience. Resilience is your ability to respond to emergencies and challenges as they come. It does not have to be only until you have armed people all around your community. There was an effort we made to train emergency response agents some time ago with the Coca Foundation. Okay? The whole idea was to see that in every ward, village in Nigeria, that you have people who have a kind of tech tool. They can use to send text messages. They can use to send video. Tell us what is happening in your community. And we did a workshop. There was one in Oka South, and then another one in Idemili North. That was an initiative from the federal government, but the idea was that we're supposed to escalate it to all the local government areas, so that you have people, just like we do, people who are abroad. One of the easiest way a lot of them get information now, they see something in the social media. Please, do not just take anything you see that is sent through the social media if you have not verified it. I know sometimes some people will say, oh, I just saw it and I shared. Don't share what you have not verified. You will be helping to cause more harm than good when you do that. But you have different sources to verify. I know because it was under my watch that we created the Anambra Call Center. I know people normally send a lot of questions, and we normally send answers to them on the need-to-know basis. And beyond that too, the Anambra State government also provided a structure that makes it possible to do some tracking. So what that means is that beyond putting security non-kinetic management into the hands of the communities. The government also has some tech tools that we have put in place because it's not something you proliferate. I know that one of your citizens or sons of Blessed Mary Ifeanyiba at the time was putting a CCTV camera all around the neighborhood. Somebody should follow up in that trend to see that such things continue. Because usually when things happen, people want to have empirical evidence. The lecturer talked about empirical evidence. People want to see truly who captured it. You will not ask police to go and investigate when there is no trace of evidence. It will be a difficult thing for them to do. And with the Anambra Homeland Security Law, for those who have time to read, it's available. Some copies are everywhere. The office of the local government chairman, they also have copies, even if you don't know where to get it. What is needed is simply to see what exactly is the strategy for security in our communities. Is to say the old thinking before that the Igbo's are the chief security officers in every community is a little bit in the background, but rather it is more in the hands of the president generals of the town. And then in every community you are expected to have what you call the finance and security committee. And they are required to see that on monthly basis reports from the President General gets to the Office of the Special Advisor on Community Security. That is the idea. The idea is we have, through that law, put security management in your hands. Because if you do not provide intelligence or early warning, because that's what the thinking is, tell us early about that new dealer you know that has moved into your community, or that one you know that is polluting the sources of water. The governor will not come there to come and know, but if you pass the information, you will see. That is how you see the kind of things happening. That sometimes you see security people will approach a particular religious house or a place where you have a native couple and pick them away. Anytime you see security agents pick them away, they are not doing it for fun. It is because there have been persistent reports about things like that happening. It's just to buttress some of the things that the guest lecturer has shared, to see that we may not have gone to Iraq to go and see what happened there, but we are learning from global best practices to see that we mainstream some of these efforts and approach to managing security challenges. So long as human beings continue to interact, so long as we continue to have poverty, so long as we do not empower the youth, you cannot just push away. And unfortunately, like the demographics will tell you that almost 65% or more of people in Nigeria are youth. And in any generation where you have that youth bulge, there will always be problems. So what it means is that we need to be very flexible about how we keep managing this thing. That's why the government of Anambra State has introduced free education at the primary and secondary school level, and they're working on the bursary. I'm not in the university, but I don't know, for those of you that are undergraduates here, probably your names have been captured for you to understand that you have all the opportunities and all the avenues available for you to access education. Beyond that, we have the 1U2 scale. Nobody will carry you to go there. You go there. You're the one as a young person, whether a woman or a man, you know what you need to do. Go there and see the opportunities available for you through the 1U2 scale. And then the Solution Innovation District, in order to see that Anambra acquire skills of the new generation. So that these days you will see a lot of people in the social media doing all kinds of stuff. You don't necessarily need to do a 9-to-5 job to earn a living. So let me stop at that and give opportunity for more contribution. Thank you, Prof.
Sorry, I spoke before. I didn't have to speak again. But I want to congratulate the young man for his contribution. We're talking about government, new government. I want to congratulate the young man for saying responsibility is ours. It's a change of orientation. That's what you can do. I know it's a handful of people, but the message will go far. So it's a challenge to all of us. You don't run away. If you withdraw, what I want you to ask is, what is the best way to confront an enemy? Is it frontal or is it withdrawal style? When we started in 1967, the youngsters at Suka went to Benue, surrounded some of them, so we soldiers took away their guns and chased them away. That was confrontation. But what happened? That he was good and came on talk and was massacred. In fact, that is his attempt that led us to what I can call qualified success in the war. If you know the pressure with which he was descending on Anambra, but you know the country, he went to Asaba, massacred people, and you aim Rita Mohammed after him. Not after Afro, not after Jacob. This is Nigeria. But that is not, the war is for us. Change of orientation. I was the DG, National Orientation Agency, for 8 years. It's a wonderful experience. I've never, of course, I'm old. I can never have that kind of thing. You know, I had no board for these 8 years. I had no board. Within 1 month, the appointed board never allowed me to rest. Oh, you buy me oil. You buy me yam. Gosh, have you been inaugurated? Just wait. You'll be inaugurated next week. They agree with me. And they will never inaugurate for 8 years I was there. Then we were in the country. We had to fight in the country. We meant well. So what you told us, two of you, look, we meant a lot. You don't expect many people to start sending messages. Oh, sorry. Sending messages. But you open to it. Some of these establishments, you are trying to perpetuate this Western system. It will not fully work. We are trying to change the orientation of our people. Consensus democracy. And that's what we are doing. It will take time. The Americans will resist. They will kill us. They will give us money. They will play all sorts of games. I'm not talking about British and French and the European. They are all gone. It's America, Russia, China, India, and all the rest. And you can see the line demarcation. The orientation of this Eastern and the orientation of the West. We will succeed if we decide to succeed. Talk to chairman who is writing with left hand. That's what they do. That's one thing they cannot do immediately. He is writing with left hand. Not that you will decide, but that you will also write it. That is their game. Look, I was there. I thank you for what you've done. There's no way you can adopt the American system and plant it and expect it to work. It will not work. But we will survive. And we survive.
2 minutes. 1 second. Yeah, just before I lose my chain of thought, I just want to explain something. I'm not implying that we use the American system to make it work here. I'm just opposing Nigerian and experience in Iraq. So sometimes we go find an agent number. I jam real why I said this, sometimes you go to another area, you learn their dance and you come back. Why I said it is because when I was the task force commander with the Fox Navy in Minnesota. I was the commander for 15 years. I was, we had Navy SEALs, Special Forces, everything. We were all in the group. I was commanding all three of them. And Marine snipers. So we go on missions to different areas. Sometimes we don't know where we're going. They just load us up and we know we're flying across the Atlantic. We might end up in Yemen, we might end up anywhere. We take care of a mission, we come back over and nobody knows. So what happened is that I was involved in Igbo community in Minnesota. They call it Women Cultural Association. And in that community, because I come from a place where we are very good at Igbo, so we do Igbo festival. And I was the one that carried the head of the Igbo who would dance. Yeah, we were introducing what our culture was all about. Then I got deployed to war. When I got deployed to war, there was a young man, I think from Ogidi, his name is Onyeka Osapwe. He loves that dance. And he wants to be the one that will be dancing the war. But some people from Umuahia and Bede region, they insisted, no, he's not a son of the Bende area. He shouldn't dance in Igbo. I told him, no. Makana will number. What we are doing is a festival. It doesn't matter. So we can learn a little bit from the lesson in the modern world era and apply. Because what we did was we were seeing how the money was going to the hands, buying weapons and all that stuff, kidnapping and everything. We had to stop it. And immediately we saw a result. So if the government can look into that, they can find a way that let's apply a little bit. Let's learn from some foreign areas. Okay, now look at the war that Russia is fighting with Ukraine. Why hasn't Russia won that war by now? Russia could have ended up Ukraine. Not because US was giving them something, no, because Russian military adopted a system they call the kamikaze. Kamikaze is like suicide bombing. They will just run to you, they use kamikaze to bomb you, Pearl Harbor, United States. The Japanese used it. They created mayhem. That was what brought US into the World War. Ukraine is using that system. Why are they using that system? They will use a drone and arm it with bombs. They just fly that drone where the Russian military is bivouacking. When the drone will just go there, blow every person up. Their soldiers don't have to fight more in the war front. So they use what they call psychological intelligence to affect the Russia, to slow them down. So another thing, the vice president, my brother, you were saying something about intelligence. Yes, sharing intelligence. What I'll tell you is like when someone moves into your neighborhood, like you said, or you see somebody that just new in town, get to know the person. Okay. Why is it that my wife has a family member that came to live with us from Nigeria. When we were telling her, be careful what you do outside the house, because your whole neighbor will know the time of the day, anything. So I was here last year. My neighbor called me. I asked her, why is my neighbor calling me on the phone? He's like, hey, this is at this time of the day, this lady was doing it, that lady was doing it. So everybody sees you. They will report it. Forensic analysis, the intelligence goes a long way. If there is somebody shot and killed on the street, and you think nobody knew about it, one way or the other, within a week, they'll find who did it. Because somebody saw something and put it in their memory and gave it to the police. the police will trace it back to the person, no matter where the person is. So we need to, when I say everybody get involved, how did we help the Sunnis and the Amber Province people to tell us more about the insurgents and the criminals by getting intelligence from them? We had intelligence. So we got them involved. We knew that they wanted to be part of the system. We played into that. America cannot institute its democracy in a nation that doesn't know democracy. We shouldn't be democratic right away. So it's a known fact that democracy doesn't work in every place. Is democracy working in Saudi Arabia? No. But America is friend to Saudi Arabia. So what I'm saying is that when we were talking about Donald Trump and how the way he operates America, that he wants to institute it in Nigeria, it's not going to work. First of all, Donald Trump doesn't know anything about military rules and anything. He has not. He's a draft dodger. Okay. He never served. He ran away. He claimed that his foot couldn't wear boots. But now look at who is the Minister of Defense. I'm not afraid to say this. How would you make someone a Minister of Defense, somebody that's a military photographer, just like you are doing right now? He becomes a Minister of Defense. The person has never ruled any, he has never led any troop. He hasn't been in charge of any squad, any platoon. So please, let's put that into perspective. Yeah, as for me, if I was gonna invade Iran, I will first of all do what they call command and control. Send the warships to the Strait of Hormuz. Let them be present before invading Iran. Or else we won't be paying all this for gas prices, fuel prices.
Thank you. So I think we should round it up. Want to take any question from the floor? And then, how many? Okay, so take a microphone. Question or just contribution? Keep it down to 1 minute, please.
My name is Chima from Bankers and Shoppers. My question will go direct to you. Not really question, it's an observation, and maybe I want you to take action.
Go ahead.
I go to work every day on a road where traders from main market operate. They go home, they go to the market and come back every day. Anambra State Security Homeland Operation being championed by Dogachi and Akune Chamber. As a matter of fact, they are doing well. They are doing very well. But something is trying to destroy their work. Number one, they need training. Human relationship. Number two, extortion is become, especially in Onitsha. I don't know what I don't know about Nnewi because I don't live in Nnewi. I came in from Onitsha to cover this program. Extortion in Onitsha is too much everywhere in Onitsha, and people are complaining. If you open radio stations, it is number one thing they are complaining. There is need to monitor what they are doing. Let me give you an example. If you want to know what I'm talking about, come out at the ABS junction, where they call ABS junction, the junction that leads to former ShopRite. Come out there by 4:30 to 5 o'clock. You see what I'm saying. I'm telling you. Then you get to Savoy Junction. It is the same problem. Please, this extortion will destroy the good work they are doing. Harassment of people, extortion. The issue of harassment, I personally witnessed it when I was going for a program in that was a senior program at Amich with my friend from Sun Newspapers. We were harassed by these people, and if not that, maybe because of the work we do and the courage we mustered. I don't know what would have happened to us. Please, Anambra State government should help curb this issue of extortion and harassment of people. It is getting too much.
Thank you. I want to ask the role of our school system. The school system, while we were in primary school, we were told that Mungo Park discovered the river Niger, and we held to it. There is no other person, even our people, they don't know the river Niger. You ask of it in the question, in the exams, we write Mungo Park. To combat criminality, there need to be, do I call it reorientation or a change of curriculum among our pupils in primary school and that of secondary school? We have to make it effective because the moderator, you say that education is very important. You see how we will inculcate it into the hearts and minds of the pupils and students. And also, I believe the church or the church and the families have their parts to play. We are working on the higher level, but there is a way we can partner with churches and the parents in their home. I discussed extensively with my family from 3 a.m. today. A lot of people live in my house. And that's why at times I try so, and I was doing something very important for the family, for the youth that have come back from holidays. And so we'll see how we will partner with parents and churches to eradicate or bring to a very minimal the rate of the criminalities in our society. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Ben Mos from Navy. Sam Ben Mos. Yes, I'm a Nigerian ombudsman. I wish that the police were in this panel because I have listened to the keynote speaker. And then when he finished, Professor Amucha said that from my primary school, I've been hearing about him, commended him so much. So that's why I want me to now hit on it. But in the absence of the police, Brigadier General, the thing will be on you, even though you don't prosecute. Why I'm asking this question is the keynote speaker presented very well that it's like when you see something, you say something. And it's a slogan in Nigeria. But I know some time ago, there was when the Soludo saga, this thing started, there's one boy that put on the social media, and the thing trended. At the point, the next thing we now hear is cyberbullying. So my question is, how do you protect the person that brings such information? You see something happening and you just try to either you take a snap or take a video and so use as evidence. The person will turn it directly the way you will carry it. Police will bring you, make statement, intimidate you, everything, collect the phone and all that. So what is the protection that that person as a citizen who is trying to bring contribution towards perfect security that we are dragging into, what is the protection the person has and the guarantee? Thank you very much.
The chairman of today's event, the local government chairman, distinguished analysts, erudite scholars, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Mine is a very brief one. I learned a lot and did enjoy the lectures and the contributions so far. Most of the discussions were actually concerned in non-kinetic aspects, and that's where we belong as the citizens. But also, how effective has been the kinetic approach to all the criminalities and the insurgency? The reason I'm asking is that there have been serious allegations of sabotage. There have been serious allegations of infiltration of the insurgents, of the criminals in the rank and files of the military and paramilitary. One of them came out some weeks ago and made bold to say that he gathers one of the insurgents, that he gathers intelligence concerning our country, our military, more than we gather from them. So if we are still dealing with the issue of the kinetic approach, how well, how efficacious has that been? Vis-a-vis the issues of sabotage and infiltration into the rank and files of our military. I'm sure probably you didn't experience that in your operations in Iraq and all the other places. Maybe if you had, probably you share some of the experiences with us. Thank you very much. My name is Professor Joe Kubu. Thank you. One more person.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Mr. Ajanobi Kajeta, Head of the Department of Local Government. I got a very important quote from the keynote speaker. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. If you allow the mind to waste, then the bandits or terrorists will take over. This is just apt. And we know that our youths, many, are unemployed. And idle bread, they say, is a devil's workshop. The area I want to come from is on the part of our political leaders, especially when they do empowerment. From what I have observed, most of the empowerments are directed to party loyalists. And we all can't be party loyalists. We all cannot be members of the same political party because we have our individual leaders. So if we know we have a challenge and our youth are vulnerable, these empowerments should be spread evenly, not only to political loyalists or supporters, but to all, and more so, more meaningful. So we have a problem, and I'm able to say that as far as and as long as our youth remain unemployed, vulnerable, whatever thing we are doing about insurgency, no matter the region in the country, will not achieve the desired result.
To the Reverend, look, adult education, I mean middle belt, look at the village education. From age of 16 to 22, the parents have much responsibility. If children come back from school, they are influenced by peer groups there. You come again. That is a very critical period in their life. So it's not a question of saying government duties or don't do that. You have a responsibility. Then number two, about parties. You don't have political parties in Nigeria. You don't have political parties. I'm speaking as a political scientist. Every person gathered, a few people gather together and register. and then share the money. Is that the way political parties function? Look, if I were an admin, probably I would have been a friend of Moses Okano. If I were an Igbo, probably I would have been a friend of Okozo. Aha! These are barons. Are they members of political parties? I'll tell you, last week I was at home. Some of the young boys near my house started camping their way. And I said, where are you running to? Sit down here. I want to enjoy what you are smoking. Can you give me something? No, we're just drinking. I said, you're not drinking. You're smoking something. And you people travel there from where? From this village. You from where? Coming here to drink in the afternoon. Look at this little money. Go and use it to buy drinks. They're all compressed. That is the way you do it. You don't expect every person to do everything. One part, 3 or 4, education. This is a multicultural country. Do you know the battle in Ministry of Education? Is education something I covered them? The struggle for change of educational system. Good struggle. I've been involved, and I encourage some people there. Some people will come from somewhere, want to change the education system. If you don't have a strong character like a gentleman, you won't get anywhere. At the stage, you know history. You know why they stopped teaching history? You're talking about moving back, discovering Nigeria, and so on. What's happening everywhere? If you don't have a strong person, they will change the education system. That's why it's important to talk to some of these governors. That's why it's important for every person to stand up. Finally, employment. Employment. You want government to provide employment for every person? Government cannot do this. I told you chaps, look, I was scholarship in primary school, scholarship in secondary school, DMGH for that matter. There's only one secondary school in Nigeria. I'm sure you know it, DMGH. No. And then even at UCI, I'm talking about UCI, not IU. So I said, look, I have to work hard. I have to learn something. What have you learned? If I give you now 10,000 or 15,000, what are you going to do with it? You drink with it, and tomorrow you say you have no job. Take it to you as a child, a responsibility to do something. If you are equipped in something, you can get employment. And that is the way to do it. This seminar is very, very important. I agree with you. Disseminate it as much as possible. But the young man is doing his best. He has a few more years. Well, that is where you work in government. You see the government, and this is the Western system of government. It cannot work. I am repeating it. The Western, by all of us mobilizing ourselves, it can. I don't know how long I'll still stay. I'm not young. I'm not sure there's any person older than myself on this floor. I'm not sure. So I don't know how long I'll stay. But I keep on shouting. As people advising the reverend gentlemen, the military, all of us. Responsibilities are on. We are much better than what goes on in the north. Have you ever been to the north? Have you ever been, many of you have been to the north? You find what is called poverty. You find what is called poverty. And you expect them to change? We thank the Almighty God for people like this.
So we need to resolve so that we can move to the next phase of this event, which I'm sure is to take us to the library complex. We will answer the questions that are not too important, but we'll try to answer them. I guess we have people online, and I'm told that they sent 3 questions, which Okay, one of them says, how would you tackle the military insurgency in Nigeria? I guess he was trying to say, how would you tackle the insurgency? The military is not an insurgent. Okay? So the person failed first in the first question. But if he's making reference to insurgency, it's still the issue of all of society approach. It's still the issue of the whole of society. The second one has to do with why is prosecution rate so low for terrorists in Nigeria? I don't think it's exactly true. You mentioned 7%.
No, 5.
Well, 5. If you follow recent events in Abuja, there was even in one of the court sessions they had more than 300 of them. So it's still the judicial process. Okay? We always say that the arm of the law is long, but it will eventually catch up. So somehow, because in some instances, cases will be taken to court, if they don't run it through the process, the person gets out of it. And then at the end of the day, they go back again. So it's a slow but steady process, but it's still okay. We're not saying that we're there yet. We hope that we'll get better than that. Then the last question has to do with, well, from the questions, I'm told some people are streaming and following us online. They say, what can the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria do to improve security apparatus in Nigeria? I think the person probably is, how would I describe that now? Yes, is out of touch with what is going on, because the truth is that for a country as large as ours, it's not an easy thing. Recently, the president made a pronouncement about creating 4 more divisions. Yes, I may differ with the guest lecturer when he said, that is like using a bandage to cover an old wound. That's not exactly true, because the study was done before that was done. Remember, in the course of my career, at the point I was the director of operations in defense headquarters, and we went to Kenya and spent 2 weeks there just to study how they manage their forest. The reason is just simply to see what do we do about all the ungoverned species. Forest around you. So there's a solution around it already. We know that part of the solutions, some states have already implemented that to create what they call forest guards. I was in Kenya and I saw that why the El Shabaab, insurgents have not been able to invade Kenya is that their forest guards carry military grade weapons, because it's a very serious thing. Otherwise, by now, Somalia would have run Kenyans out of business. And we saw how they managed their forest, and we brought the lessons home. And that it also revolved around the issue of who exactly is going to man those places. So the idea of spreading the division is to see. Remember that largely the divisional structures we had in the military since after the Civil War was there were certain areas in Nigeria that have not been covered. It's not going to be a walk in the park, because they require a lot of resources to get that done. So I hope that when that is done properly, I know that the battalion is also, a brigade headquarters is coming to Anambra, and there will also be a battalion in Lilu and what's the other neighboring town? Osumogu and Lilu. Okay? So we are bringing it close, because I discovered that on the average, when you tell people that a lot of cases that are civil related, you should go to the police, our people find it a bit reluctant to do so. So it comes down to part of what is the effort of the government of Anambra now. The Commissioner for Information is not just Commissioner for Information now, it is called Commissioner for Information and Value Reorientation. Take note of that. So the Reverend Gentleman, they would love to have people like you as partners in progress. It's just for you to reach out and tell them how you want to, the role you want to play. Okay? The Anambra State Government has a website for those who want to relate to them. You will find every ministry contact number there. You don't necessarily need to go to Oka. Even if you call the call center and you ask for emergency numbers of all the local government areas, the information is there. You don't need to move around with it. Beyond the effort that the mayor is also making here, I have worked closely with him when we needed to dismantle the issue of sit-at-home. And that's why a lot of you are able to now do things on Monday. So it is just to see that whatever effort we're making is consistent. So I think that take care of that. But for us to be able to take something away, you know, I was writing and the prof was asking, why am I writing, taking notes?
I didn't say what you were not doing.
No, the issue of, no, I was taking notes. Because you know that the presenters.
I didn't say what you were writing.
Oh, okay.
I said you were not doing.
Okay. So there was a professor who was asking questions about insurgency infiltrating the military. I will not answer that here. The reason is often the GOC, they go out, when is the next time people have this, you'll be meeting the communities. When you go to engage communities, okay? So when they start community engagement, you can ask some questions and they will answer that. I am not in a position to talk about insurgency infiltrating the military. So let's leave it at that. Otherwise, you know headquarters H2D. You can go there, you're a Nigerian citizen. If you have any credible information you want to verify, they will answer you. But don't flow with what is on the social media. No, it's a continuous thing.
Yeah,
so if for any reason you know anybody that is in the military and you know that there's some command about him, it's your duty to report. Don't be quiet. Okay? So I don't think you don't need to bother yourself about that. You don't need to bother yourself about that because I heard you heard it. But you're not, nobody's prosecuting you.
The military needs to boost the morale of the soldiers so to be able to recruit more.
I know they are doing that and they can do better. So for us on the whole, from my own perspective here, we are talking about consistent paradigm shift on our approach of managing security and even value reorientation. Am I speaking your mind? Yes, if we do that. So we are thinking that our approach should be systematic, shouldn't be an ad hoc approach. And that's why I highlighted some of the key things, particularly things that put in place, you know, there is a law that backs whatever you're doing. And that's why I talked about the Anambra Homeland Security Law. And that we have structures in place where I talked about we have a call center, 5341, it works, the Anambra call center. We also have a tracking center where you can only access the tracking center through the call center. And then we are advocating for a grassroots-oriented approach in managing security, where the speaker commended the Anambra State government for what they are doing. And like I told you, starting from the Homeland Security Law, to allowing the 179 communities in Anambra to grow their own vigilante. But we branded them and called them Agri Chamber. So what you should be asking yourself, have you made any contribution in kitting them? Like someone talked about training and orientation for them. Do a proposal to start, pick one local government area, write a proposal to them, and say, please, you would like to have a session with all the vigilantes in Nigeria, that you will do it pro bono, 3 days training. You can get sponsors. Let it be on record that you made that effort so that next time when you speak, someone will say, even despite this effort, it's not enough, maybe we need to do more. Then we talked about the need for intelligence-driven approach in how we do things. Of course, it still falls within the realm of the systemic approach. You find that in each of the local government areas, we have DSS, we have civil defense. So the mayor and all the people who are in the local government, it is your job to take him on. What is his intelligence estimate for Newi? People understand what I'm saying. You need to ask him, what is your intelligence estimate for Newi? They will tell you. If he doesn't have that, let him go and find out how it is done. The guest lecturer understands what I'm saying. So that you don't pander on rumors and false information. Then when we talked about empowerment, well, thank you for the speaker that spoke from the back. You talked about the approach, maybe they remember only people who are members of the party. I cannot speak to that. But what I can tell you for sure is that when Soludo employed 5,000 teachers, I'm a member of the All Progressive Grounds Alliance. I am no more in government, I have served, but I have a moral responsibility to see that I become good ambassador of the state and for the government as much as possible whenever the opportunity comes. So to speak to that, the truth is that we employ 5,000 teachers and I can't remember anybody asking me to bring any names. It was purely on merit. They went through the computer-based test, and that has been the trend that made most of the employment done. But for the one you two skill, please, if you have any credible evidence that it appears to be only people in Africa, please bring it up. Nobody's going to prosecute you for doing that because it will be your resources that will be used to train them. Okay? Then the speaker also spoke about correctional services. I need to let you know that correctional services have been pulled out of the exclusive legislative list. Okay? The states are now allowed to run correctional services because it's a very important component because I discovered that when people get into correctional facility, by the time they come out, they are worse than what they are before they got in there. Okay? So we are studying things critically to see that even when Anambra decides to establish a similar thing, those kind of things will not happen. Okay? So the other thing to talk about is the most of the things he commended the governor for the issue of dismantling the sit at home. Of course, you guys know that Simon Ekpa is already behind bars. That wasn't an easy job. We had to do what they call a victim impact assessment that was done in the whole of the Southeast, and that was part of what was used in the court in Finland to send him behind bars. So the government will not hesitate to do that with those similar individuals. Okay? Of course, you are aware of what the government is doing in terms of religious cultists, all those people who are using the church as a facade. So if you know any church in your neighborhood and you are not sure of what they are doing, there's a case of a pastor, whatever they call it, that was in the habit of converting people's wives and converting them to his wife. So those are the kind of ones. We don't want those kind of things to happen in Anambra or even anywhere in Nigeria. So if you have such information, pass it to government, and I can assure you something will be done. Okay? Then the issue of dismantling the criminal economy. Okay? It's becoming the economy of the criminal network. Yes. Recently, we have arrested a lot of people who are POS operators. So if you are operating POS, be careful that your system is not used to fund money because you might see yourself end up behind bars. Because they may say transfer this 10 million that you're going to get 500,000 and you think it's easy money and you jump to it. So be careful when you do that. So that has helped us to pick a lot of them. But you find that sometimes when people are picked here, they might end up with the military and they might decide to move them to Abuja and from there they will prosecute them. Okay? So some of those things we expect that investigative journalists should follow such trails and find out exactly how those people end up. Okay? The university prof, we have not forgotten you. I just want to remind you that I know about the Center for Peace and Security Studies. Okay? So in the university now. No, yes. So they are part of that to see that there's not avenue for intellectual discussion on things like this, so that things can flow very well and be able to be part of the think tank to provide solutions to the challenges we have in our states. Okay? So the Southeast Nigeria are working, like you said, the example from the Sunnis and so on, who said they were marginalized. The truth is that nobody is marginalizing you until you decide to marginalize yourself. Professor Mucha has said this: the government cannot employ everybody. And that's why you take opportunities as they come. We've had situations in Nigeria where a lot of people from the Southeast held a lot of key positions in Nigeria. What did they do with it? Take a drive. Professor Mucha drove from Enugu, Prof. Didn't you see the road? Very good. Okay? So please, so that let's not get unnecessarily sentimental and think that it is only when an Igbo man becomes president that your problem will be solved. That will not be true. So, if you see something that is good and the government is being well commended, we have for the first time the Southeast Development Commission. It was something that has been thrown out of the chambers of the National Assembly each time the matter came up.
After 15 years.
Okay, but it's on board. So these are things that we should comment. There's no challenge that we are facing in Nigeria that we are all not part of it. I buy fuel from the same filling station, go to market. So the ones that the government can do, let them do it, but the ones who can do it individually, we'll let individuals do. So I think on the whole, we've talked on most of the critical things which should be our take home from this wonderful lecture that you gave us, except anyone thinks that anything we're leaving behind. But you know, we can't solve all the problems today. But we just want you to, as we live here, to remain good ambassadors of the state and Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. The problem with Nigeria is the human beings inside it. Nigeria is a beautiful country. Okay? So I rest my case for now and thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for our panelists. Please, you can come back on the high table. And I want to just give an opportunity to somebody who traveled the furthest to speak. He raised his hands. Mr. and Mrs. Scott came all the way from Mississippi. And Mr. Scott just wants to tell us his impression of Igbo land and our security situation. Mr. and Mrs. Scott, you want to just say a few words to our Unewi brothers from across the pond. You're welcome to Unewi. Thank you very much for coming all the way from Mississippi in the United States. So Mrs. Scott is a retired principal. She was a principal in a high school in Chicago. Mr. Scott is a construction technologist. He's worked in all kinds of construction. So you're welcome. Say a few words.
The only thing I want to say, when the gentleman mentioned, about the mind is a powerful thing. That is a very strong statement, and that is something everyone should take to heart. A mind is a strong thing. You have to enforce that, and have to enforce that if you're going anywhere in life.
Hello everybody, my name is Dave Scott. There's one thing I can tell you that a good leader needs. You need two good things. You need a lifeguard that knows how to swim and a man that's not afraid to die. You know, that'll take you a long way. But anyway, I was looking at the structure around here and I was wow. Matter of fact, I talked about Momah in Mississippi. About I was looking at the waterway and how the floods and stuff be running, and I saw that you all don't have reservoirs. A reservoir is something that it's a man-made lake, and what it does, it captures all of the water before it gets into the city, and it builds a lock to run it off into the ocean. Like Mississippi River is connected in Minnesota and runs all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico in Mississippi. And they got reservoirs, I got thousands of reservoirs in the States. But what they do is they control all the waterways to keep places from flooding out. And then they build levees. Levees, what they do is control the waterway. They keep too much water from running into the rivers, into the neighborhoods and stuff. And I see that you all don't have that. And what you need for that is to the fact that heavy equipment, shovels and bulldozers, that's not going to get it, you know. You need heavy equipment like bulldozer, backhoe diggers, rollers, and strippers and bobcats. Bobcats is a smaller thing like a dozer, work like a dozer, but one of those costs less money, but it'll do the work for 20 minutes. With that kind of thing like that, you can build your transportation up, and transportation is what you unite people, you know. And I see that that's something that you all need extremely bad. Thanks a lot. And I know some of y'all wonder why I look like this, because we got one of y'all best doctors. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. I'll just tell you that my patients, they are in their 70s and they're still traveling all around the world. So thank you so much for coming.
I got one other thing to say. I never been to Africa before, man. When I met Dr. Momah, I said, man, look, before I leave here, I got to go home. And I read a lot about Africa. Although Donald Trump, he was talking about he wasn't going to let the Nigerians and the Africans in there, he was going to just let the white South Africa come in. But that didn't last too long because every black person, every white person knows that Nigerians have the most highly educated immigrants in the state. Y'all got the best engineers, the best scientists, the best doctors, the best everything. I understand one thing, in order to the country to really strive, you got to do something to keep the best talent here.
Thank you so much. We've got to do our best to keep our best talent here. So I want to just recognize the professor of pediatric surgery, the eminent Professor Jide Ubu, who's here with us. Let's put our hands together for him. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. And my auntie, I think Rita Momah, she's here. Oh, she stepped out. Thank you so much. Is architect Chizoba from Zoblis Engineering here. Architect Chizoba from Zoblis Engineering. This was the firm that built the library. It was a foundation, it was a structure that was empty, and it was built from the foundation up. So he's going to describe the facility before we go forward to commission it. Engineer Chizoba trained at Enugu State University. He's done 2 projects for me, maybe even 3 projects, and I recommend him highly to those of you who are interested in any building project. Here is Architect Chizoba from Zoblis Engineering to describe the Sam Momah Library, Onewi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished guests, the Executive Governor of Anambra State represented, the Mayor of Nnewi North, gentlemen and ladies, good afternoon. It is with great profound gratitude and great honor that I stand before you today as we commission the Sam Momah Library here in Nnewi, a place that represents knowledge, opportunity, innovation, and hope for generations to come. The Sam Momah Library is a modern hybrid library thoughtfully designed to meet the learning needs of today's generation while preserving and enduring value of traditional reading. It combines a well-stocked collection of hardcover books and electronic laptops and desktops that would enable learning easily. The hardcover section provides an extensive collection of books for reading, research, and academic study, while the e-library offers an access to computers and digital learning resources, enabling the users to explore e-books and other journals for research databases. The library is dedicated to the enduring legacy of Major General Sam Momah, who is late, whose life was reflected as a commitment to education, leadership, and national development. It's our hope that everyone who walks through these doors will be inspired to pursue excellence, think creatively, and contribute meaningfully to our society, starting from Nnewi. As Nelson Mandela wisely said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Sam Momah Library will become a place where change begins every single day. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your support. Thank you, each and every one of you, to all our donors, and to Sam Momah Foundation. God bless you. God bless Nnewi North. God bless Anambra State, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, then, Architect Chizoba. And one of the things my dad was not very well known for, my dad was a member of the governing board of 3 universities. He was a member of the governing board of ASUTEC before he became Enugu State University and Anambra State University. He was a member of the board of the University of Jos as well. And a few other institutions. He obtained a PhD from a university abroad as well. So my dad was an intellect and art and academic, but he was a military man in uniform. Before we conclude this program, I want to invite the chairman of the occasion, Professor Emeju, to just round up and summarize the day's affairs. And then from here, we'll have our closing prayer and a vote of thanks by Dr. Ken Momah. So just want to invite the chairman of the occasion to return to the mic to tell us how the proceedings have been today and what we can all take home from here, sir. Thank you, Professor Benjamin. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mama G. You are such a wonderful orator. You are such a wonderful historian. In fact, in Ghana, they call people like you Nana. When you go to some of their archives, they are always there to give you the history of the place. When I went to Eburi, I tried to visit the conference room where the one of the Chukwu held the Eburi Accord just before the Civil War broke out. And there was this young man there who kept giving us the entire history of how the arrival, the discussions were. The house is still there, painted in blue. It's a one-story building, mostly wood, painted in blue and white. I think you qualify for such. Yes, please let's appreciate it. Because it's keeping the archives of Nigeria there, the input of his dad in the history of our very beloved country. And the fact that you read them out of hand simply shows that you've embedded yourself in the system and you cannot be taken unawares. I'm talking about General Sam Momah. May God bless you. It's been a wonderful day. We started very lightly, but I'm glad that the hall got full. Emeritus Professor Elo may have wanted a larger audience, but the beginning of 1,000 miles is always that single step. You know, there are so many Americans here, and you remember the voice of Neil Armstrong as he stepped into the moon, and the dust blew up. He said, "This is just a single step for a man, but it is a giant leap for humanity." And they have continued going to the moon, even as we are talking this year. The library of the Sam Momah Foundation is a wonderful development. In fact, we have very few public libraries, and I was glad that the mayor put the one at Nnewi where it belongs. He says they are ready and they want to beef it up. So this is a new thing. But we do have some libraries around. We have two, but they are purely professional. We have two health libraries. One at the teaching hospital on the old side, and another at the local premises of the university. But we have some individual libraries, like we have an emeritus professor, Jerome Riano, from the US, who gave us the ultra-modern library and the Department of Environmental Health Sciences. And the purely connected with internet, power supply 247, and is actually in local field where there is no public power supply. So we stay on solar power, and we make sure it keeps it running. So Nnewi is great, but bringing this home makes me feel better at home. When you have an intellectual and military with you, I think it is great justification to bequeath to him the memory of a library, to capture that aspect of his humanity, which his uniform probably have kept as facade and protecting from public knowledge. This is me. I praise your foundation and the children for doing this. I thank the erudite gentlemen who are here. First of all is my teacher and my guide, Emeritus Professor Elo Amuchazi, Professor, it is good to have you as a teacher, a trainer, a guide, and later see you in a public space where you are still talking and we are engaging. I mean, it's like it's impossible. When we're one of them. Man, so I feel elated, I feel proud, I feel I think I'm lucky to be here today. Now, the generals, I don't know whether they are the awards professors, but I then think that Colonel Chukwuemeka, you are a great son of Africa. In fact, I nearly fell out of my seat when you turned around to start speaking. You would like them. He said, "How can I do you?" Yes. You know, when we see people like you, you're a great inspiration to the many generations of young giants and geniuses who have been kept down by the societal and structural challenges of the kind of place you are coming from. Some of these kids, if they have the opportunities, you know, you have, probably they will excel. I remember Professor Eno saying, if it was not for some of these set up and the opportunities he got, he may be one of the people walking the streets. But here we are. So you have given inspiration to us. My shock is having so many young men as generals. I can't believe that the Vice Air Marshal has spent 35 years in the army. You don't look it. How did you do it? Double promotion. So it gives me joy. Now look at someone like Professor Fodike, who came all the way from University of Jos. Through University of Jos, he's actually a lion, and he's sitting there. In certain clients, of course, he will be ushered in there in a red carpet because he has touched society, touched men, individually and collectively, in ways far beyond what some of us can comprehend. So you can imagine what has come here. Then the GOC, the General Officer commanding the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army. GOC, heavily represented by Brigadier General Julius. You are welcome. What impresses me most and intimidates me about you is your humility. I don't know how many generals are home. This guy here has made me think again about my precepts, my concepts, and my perceptions. General Julius, not from Adawa, you're welcome. One of your brethren is actually my younger colleague. He's the Chief Medical Director of the National Hospital, and he trained as I did in brain surgery. So he is there and he's doing so well. So immediately you say it, my spirit went back to the federal government. So I find those who came here, the politicians, there's a star chief doctor, Samben. Samben, he says, is an up-close man. I know what that means. Samben is a great politician and a leader who has given light to many people and wisdom. Samben, for what you do for the society, may God continue to bless you. And I saw the Reverend Gentleman, my dear Archdeacon, we thank you for your submissions and we hope you will take our message back to the bishop. That the fact of insurgency is a collective fight for us. Even those of you on the podium, when you come to the altar, some of the rituals and some of your communications can change many hearts. You can never underrate what will happen. You know, when you went to sow the seeds, some fell on stony soil, some fell on rock, some fell on sandy soil. So probably, you know, there's a gentleman called Albino Luciani. Albino Luciani was Pope John Paul I. And before he became Pope, his favorite saying is, scatter the seeds, so we grow. Scatter the seeds, never tire in doing good. And I want to plead with you that aside what the judiciary can do, a lot can be done by the clerics. Our students are here. My colleague, Professor Ubu, is there. CJ is gone, but many of them are here. The president, the representative of the Igwe is no longer around. And the courtier of great men from this impressive Nnewi North local government. It's a one-town local government. And some of the greatest investors in Nigeria came from there. In 1986, when they gave us New Anambra State, Ekomode Emeka was the governor. And they launched a development fund for the new unit, for the new states. And he gave a promise that whichever community donates most money will get the medical school. And then Nnewi community, people like Ilodi, Obacha, they put hands together and they donated the highest in the development of Anambra State. And he gave them the medical campus of the university. Today, I am the provost of that college, ladies and gentlemen. I need to let you know that the federal government has done all the internal road network it should do. The state government has done none that it should do to that place. On Friday, 2 major doctors fell on each other and blocked the way. We probably couldn't go to work or couldn't go to school. And I made every effort to plead. So I want to beg great men here, help us. We have to find a way to create access to the only federal university in this town and in this state. It would be too good to continue crying for roads toppling over, students injuring themselves or getting away. Even if it's a grade 1 road, even if it's fixed, it will help us. The federal government has already done it. So in this library compendium, we have heard the story of conflicts in the modern world, the 21st century. And it was brought by non-father a person that a principal actor in the entire, I won't call it a program, because it's part of our history, in that part of human history, the Middle East. As you know, if we take some of what they are saying, we will not swallow the book line and sink our mouth. But we can adapt. Technology can be adapted. We didn't wait for us to go through the process of having a whole house as a computer before we started using laptops. We leapfrog into what the Western world has done. So we mustn't follow the protocol of do clay, after baking clay, bake bricks, do block before now. If we can leapfrog technology, we can leverage on what they have done, the Western world has done, and then improvise it and then adapt it to our own understanding. No knowledge is a waste. So I think today has been a great day. Those of the youth journalists we had a lot to write about, and the journey continues. The 7th lecture is coming, and I hope that people here should play a huge role in advertising the message and bringing the consciousness to our people. We thank the state government, the local government for the great things they've done. We recall the great memories of Ifeanyi Ubah, what we've done for security. And we are sure that by God's grace, once we keep our eye on the ball, we'll arrive at our assured destination. We now go over for the commissioning of the project, and I thank you all for your praise. God bless us.
Thank you very much, Professor Emechilu, the Provost, College of Medicine, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Can the students from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, College of Medicine, please stand up? They've been helping us with ushering and serving food. These are the future doctors of our community. Let's put our hands together for them. 5 of them took out time from their schedule to be here. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate you. Want to appreciate the staff of the Nnewi North local government. They've been all around here. They were the ones who opened us up. Please, if you don't mind, if you are a staff, do you mind just standing up? If you are a staff of the Nnewi North local government, want to thank the Director of Administration. Want to thank the local government chairman for opening up this environment for us. Thank you also for letting us have together for them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then I want to recognize the Crown Prince of Unobi who just came in. Prince Obi is on Obi Ajulu just came in. Thank you so much for joining us. If you got a pack, I know some of us didn't get the pack. The pack contains some nourishment, some food. There was a card in the pack. The card is for the Tobe Momah Foundation and it has a Zenith bank account. The bank account is 101-576-3124. 101-576-3124. Like I said, Zenith Bank. So if you haven't got the card, please have some here. 101-576-3124. Everything you see we've done so far in Lagos, in Abuja, in Uyo, in Enugu has been due to the friends and family of Tobe Momah. My mother, the former Momah, who is unavoidably absent, she's in Abuja, she'll be 80 years old next year. My elder brother, Emeka Momah, my sister, Ada Amaka, and our families, extended families, put together the money with the help of friends of the family. That's how we need to build 5 libraries in 5 years. You can support the organization. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Master. You can support the Tobe Momah Foundation by sending your money to this account. I don't know what you can afford, 1,000, 5,000, whatever it is, it goes a long way to eradicating illiteracy in our environment. Tobe Momah Foundation gives scholarships, we do reading competitions, but the biggest thing we are known for is to build self-standing libraries that you can come in free of charge, use the internet free of charge, read in a comfortable environment free of charge, and develop yourself academically and intellectually. We're not asking you to pay to use the library, we're asking you to support the library by your contribution. No amount is too small. Again, Zenith Bank account, Tobe Momah Foundation, 101-576-3124. As you give, so shall it be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will men give to your bosom. As we conclude this occasion, I want to invite my older brother, Dr. Tobe Momah, to give the vote of thanks. And after that, Pastor Ezekiel will give us the closing prayer, and then we'll go for the commissioning of the library. Not everybody can come for the commissioning. I'd like to ask the high table, we'll take some pictures, and then after that, the members of the high table and some of the academic staff from Nandesibu University, from friends of the family, Sir and Lady Mosu, and all our relatives, please, you can come with us to the library. But not everybody can make it because of the environment that it's located in. So I'd like to invite my brother, Dr. Tobe Momah, to give the vote of thanks at this auspicious occasion. Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you very much. I want to see all of us today. My job is the easy one. If I would just say thank you. You have done the heavy lift. You know all the work. So today, thank you so much. I want to thank our chairman, Mayor, the keynote speaker, wonderful speech. The general, Udai chairman, all those, the moderator, chief, all those who have contributed to make this event a huge success. But before I do the formal thank you, I want to just put in my own little word, my way of contribution to the conversations. I know that this is a learning environment. There are students here. A lot has been said about kinetic, non-kinetic. I'm not sure if you need to understand what that means. Just prevention. Can I try one of these students there? Can I give the mic to one of the students there? Sorry. Sorry for the time. This is a learning environment. Let's just see, because let's not leave there without understanding what's being said today. What do you understand by the word kinetic and non-kinetic in terms of security? Does everybody know? Put your hand up. Who the students? The students, not the students. So you see, most of them didn't understand what it means. And so the problem is, so if the giraffe just explain 1 minute what it means, that would be very good.
Hello? Students, can you hear that? Kinetic and and non-kinetic. Kinetic is a situation where we have need for use of arms in addressing security issues. Okay? But the non-kinetic is more of what does not require use of arms, like provide employment, empower people, have community resilient agents who report things that are happening in their community, intelligence gathering, anything you will do that does not require the use of arms. And that's why we're preaching that the use of arms is probably 10%. The rest is 90% is non-kinetic. We're asking for good governance, but you know it depends on who you're listening to. When the politicians talk, they will talk about good governance. So when they preach good governance, what you're saying is, how does that keep you safe? Okay? So it's all encompassing, all the efforts that the government and people within the helm of affairs, whether it's in your local community and so on, all the things they do in order to see that we remain safe and secure. Thank you.
I hope you understand now. Thank you, that's why you're here. And then next, I'd like to say one or two of my dad's legacy. Listening to all the speakers here today, I was very moved by the comments about my dad. He left me speaking and share with us that if you didn't take anything from this meeting, take one thing away. How would you like to remember when you pass on? All of us here will pass on sooner or later. And when you do, how will people speak about you? From all that is said today, you see the legacy my dad had. People here didn't speak out because passionate, they spoke out of their hearts about who the man he was. So when you do move on, how will people speak about you? Please take that home. Then lastly, I want us to give a round of applause to my brother Tobe for his job well done. He has single-handedly Dwight Foundation as a family who left it for him to manage, and done an excellent job. And at times I feel you don't wait until you are passed on to say thank you. Whilst you're here, you should celebrate it. So today we say thank you to the family. Well done. But that was, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I wish you all safe journeys back to your various destination. And we'll see you at the 7th Samoa Foundation lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to invite the students to come out here, please. The medical students. If you have anything you want to give, like a check, you can stand up, you can come to the front. The students will be collecting them on our behalf. Okay? If you have cash gifts for the foundation, if you have checks, if you want to return the card, if you wrote an amount on the card inside your pack, you can just spread it out on the side. And you want to give it to them, just raise your hand, they'll come forward and pick it up. Just wanted to let you know that they are available to pick up any cash gifts for the Samoa Foundation that you might have. All right, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much once again. I'd like to invite Pastor Ezekiel to lead us in a closing prayer before we head to the commissioning. I heard it rain all through this program, so we'll call those showers of blessing. And God opened the heavens to commission the Samoa Library. Thank you all so much for coming, and God bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today's occasion. Bless you and we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, all that came from far and near, from beyond the shores of Nigeria. We return all glory and honor to you for the success of today's event. And we ask that as we return back to our various places, please go with us. Keep protecting and blessing us. And may the legacies of our beloved late general continue to blossom and flourish. And everyone contributing and partaking to your blessings and favor rest upon everyone. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
The national anthem. The correct one. Okay, let's see. Do you have anyone? All right.
These are one request for us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to take some pictures. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tobe. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so
Need to join them.
If you wake up from morning, it's hallelujah. From January to December, never Jehovah.